Hello and happy Friday. Today, our theme is connect, and our overall theme for this entire Align program is to find connection through yoga. So, this theme, this practice in particular, are very near and dear to my heart. So, if you've read your email, you know that this practice is all about connecting to what matters the most. So throughout this practice, please remember that taking the time to care for yourself, to connect to yourself, to your practice, to the others who practice with you, it isn't being selfish. It is really necessary because you can't serve others if you're not first serving yourself. So take a second here to connect to yourself. We are going to begin today in our tabletop position. So come on down to your mat and we'll come to our tabletop, all fours. And as always, we'll check in with the foundation so our wrists are directly underneath the shoulders. Our knees are open about hip distance apart here and they're stacked directly under the hips. We're pressing into the tops of the feet and drawing the shoulders away from the ears. The head is a beautiful extension of the spine and the neck, so just be mindful of if we're hanging the head pretty low or the opposite if we're tilting our chin up too high, and just let it come to kind of a neutral position. Awesome. Today we are going to do an ab exercise that I don't think we've done in the program so far. So be kind to yourself, be patient with yourself, and throughout this whole practice, throughout every asana, every posture that we move into, I encourage you to focus on the connection. So here in our tabletop, focus on your connection, feeling your hands connecting to the earth. Feeling the tops of your feet and your knees connecting with the earth. Take a nice full breath in and arrive at this moment. Exhale and just release. On our next inhale, we'll extend our left leg all the way out. And you can keep the toes on the ground at first, and when you've got your balance, you can pick it up, lifting it off the ground. Once it's lifted, turn those abs on. Connect to your core. When you're nice and steady, we'll inhale, lifting the opposite hand, so the left hand comes up. Beautiful. From here, on our next inhale, we'll hug them both into the chest, so hugging the knee all the way in and drawing that right elbow in. Exhale, we'll extend both of them out, reaching the sole of that foot to the back of the mat and reaching the right fingers all the way forward. Inhale, bring it all the way back to center. Exhale and reach. Turn those abs on. Connect to your core for extra stability. Inhale, nice and tight. Think about your cat pose here. And exhale, reach, reach, reach. Beautiful. On your next inhale, we'll release both back down to the ground. And where we are, we'll just send our hips back. So our child's pose. Now, if this child's pose doesn't feel good in your body, you can, of course, open your knees up as wide as the mat and take it to an extended child's pose. Wherever we are, let's extend our hands to the top of the mat and melt the chest all the way down, bringing the forehead to kiss the earth. Taking a breath here in our child's pose. Maybe focusing on the connection of the forehead touching the mat. And on our next inhale, we'll come back up to our tabletop and we'll prepare for our bird dog on the other side. So our wrists are directly under shoulders, knees directly under our hips. On our inhale, we'll extend the right leg all the way down. Again, keeping the toes on the mat at first while we get our balance. And when you're ready, we can inhale and lift that right leg up, turning that core on, activating our center. Beautiful. On the next inhale, sweep the left hand up, so opposite leg to hand. Awesome. Inhale, hug both of them in. Hug the knee and elbow in. Tuck the chin in. Tuck the chin into the chest. Exhale, send them both out and really reach, reach, reach. Inhale, squeeze them all the way in, chin to chest. Beautiful. Exhale, send them out, reaching that left hand forward and that right foot back. Beautiful. Last one. Inhale to center. Hug it all in. And exhale, extend the arm and the leg, reaching it out. Beautiful. Inhale, lower it down to the mat. And we'll take another child's pose, so send the hips all the way back. Extend the hands out in front of you and melt the chest down, bringing the forehead to kiss the earth. Taking a breath here. We're going to get into our flow in a minute. So maybe this is the point in your practice where you set your intention. If you haven't gotten it already, my intention for this practice is clearly connect. But that doesn't mean it has to be yours. It can be something that maybe complements the connect. Whatever resonates with you. On our next inhale, we'll come back up to our tabletop position. And we'll take a look down at our hands, and we're going to walk our hands up just one step above where they were. So our wrists are now one step forward from our shoulders. We'll tuck the toes under, and on our exhale, we'll hinge the hips up and back to our downward facing dog. Keep a nice bend in the knees and start to pedal out the feet slowly. I encourage you to move nice and slow, being mindful. We're not in a rush. And we'll take a second here to just sit in this stillness of our down dog. So we'll press into all 10 fingertips and kind of the ball mound of every finger. So our hands are almost up like these little crab hands. Upper arm bones are rotating out. Breathing into our side rib cage. Melt the chest back towards the thighs. Send the hips up just a little bit higher towards the sky. Keeping a bend in the knees or not, it's totally your preference. However, your hamstrings are feeling at this moment in this practice. Heels are pulling to the back of the mat. And like I said before, it's completely fine if the heels aren't flush to the mat. My hamstrings definitely don't have that flexibility today, and it's okay. On our next inhale, we'll sweep our right toes up towards the sky. Exhale, we'll draw them all the way through the center line of the mat and step the right foot up at the top, placing it in between our hands. Inhale, we'll lift up to our high crescent lunge. Front knee is stacked over front ankle. Hips are nice and square to the front of the mat. When we're ready, we'll pivot the left foot and plant it parallel to the short edge of our mat, preparing for our Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. So inhale, we'll open up to our Warrior 2 arms, tuck the pelvis under. Both hands are reaching, one to the front, one to the back. Front knee is stacked over front ankle. And we're pressing into the outer edge of the left foot. Beautiful. On our next inhale, we'll straighten the right knee. And we'll shift the rib cage forward. So we're not moving our lower body at all. We're just shifting the rib cage forward, almost as if we're trying to reach something at the front of our mat. On our exhale, we'll lower the right hand to the inside of the right foot. Now, if your hand doesn't come to the mat, you can rest it on your thigh, on your calf, on your ankle, or you can grab a block, a book, a cushion, anything that you have available to just help bring the earth up to you as you work on that flexibility to get your hand down to your leg. And do not feel any way if your hand doesn't reach. It took me years to be able to accomplish, and I still don't have it down packed yet. So feel free to get any props that you need to adjust and assist. And of course, being kind to yourself. We're going to pivot the left hand and bring it all the way down as well. The left hand is going to trace up the right arm, trace over our chest and open our heart up towards the ceiling, and then extend that left hand up towards the sky. Trikonasana, triangle pose. So we're keeping our front leg as straight as we can. And I want you to imagine that you are a nice straight line from the middle finger on your right hand all the way up your forearm, your biceps, your chest, and extending all the way through the left arm to the left middle finger. If you have a mirror, feel free to just sneak a peek and make sure that you are in a nice straight line. Your arm is not too far back or too far forward. I know you must be dying here. So on our next inhale, we'll rise up to our warrior two. So bending that front knee. And extending the hands out, warrior two. Beautiful. We'll try it again. So this time we'll straighten the front knee, shifting the rib cage forward, reaching for the front of our mat. We'll lower the right hand to the inside of the right foot. Extend the left hand. You can either bring it down or just extend it straight up, completely your preference. I like to bring my hand all the way down to meet the front hand, just to trace it all the way up and make sure that my chest is spiraling up towards the sky. It helps me get the proper alignment of my chest, my rib cage. That's just my personal preference, but I know everyone is different, so just find what feels good for you here. Beautiful. This time on our next inhale, we'll come to our reverse triangle. So we're bringing the left hand all the way to the back of the left thigh, and this time just extending the right hand up towards the sky, keeping the legs nice and straight. Awesome. Inhale, we'll cartwheel both hands down to frame the front foot, bending into the right knee, pick up the left toes, and then we'll step that right leg back to our plank. We did our chaturanga in our last practice, day 18, so we're going to continue building on that. We'll shift forward onto the tippy toes and we'll hug it all the way down, keeping those elbows in. If your elbows aren't feeling your shirt, you're not hugging them in close enough, hover, 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 flip onto the tops of the feet and inhale, press up to your up dog, and exhale to your down dog. Beautiful. Again, just pedaling out here, moving nice and slowly. And then we are going into the other side. Awesome. On our next inhale, we'll sweep the left toes up towards the sky. Exhale, draw it all the way through and plant it at the top of the mat. Inhale, rise up, high crescent lunge, bringing the hands up with you, hugging the low ribs in. Beautiful. We'll pivot the right foot and plant it parallel to the short edge of the mat. And now inhale to our Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2 arms. Bending into the front knee over front ankle. If you look down at your front foot, you should be able to see your toes, and it's almost as if your left knee is tracking open just a little bit towards the left pinky. So feeling that little opening in the hip, that outer rotation of the left thigh, pressing into the outer edge of the right foot. Inhale, and we'll straighten the left leg. We'll shift the rib cage forward, reaching to the front of the mat, and lower the left hand to the inside of the left foot. Again, get your block, get your book, get your cushion, or just rest the hand on the calf. Sweep the right hand down and we'll trace it all the way up the left, spiral open the heart and extend it up to the sky. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Inhale, we'll come all the way back up to our warrior 2. So bending into that front leg again, reaching to the front with our left hand and reaching to the back with our right. And then we'll straighten the front leg, heading into our Trikonasana, triangle pose. Shift the rib cage forward, reaching the left hand to the front of the mat and drop it to the inside of the left foot. Your choice here on if you want to sweep the right hand down and up, or if you just want to extend the right fingers up to the sky. Either way, we're meeting in our Trikonasana triangle pose. Awesome. On our next inhale, we're coming up to our reverse Trikonasana. So we're cartwheeling the right hand all the way up and sending it to the back of the right thigh and extending the left fingers up towards the sky, keeping both legs nice and straight, grounding down through all four corners of the front foot, pressing into the outer edge of our right foot. Inhale, we'll cartwheel both hands down to frame the front foot, bending into that left knee, and we'll pick up the right foot. Step the left foot back to our plank, and here we go, our last chaturanga of the practice. Shift forward onto your toes. Hug it all the way down as you lower, and we're hovering just above the mat. Flip onto the tops of the feet, and inhale, press up to your upward facing dog. Thighs are lifted. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. And exhale, tuck the toes under, and we'll send it up and back, downward facing dog. Awesome. Pedaling out the feet. On our next inhale, we'll lower our knees down to the mat, coming to our tabletop position. You can cross one ankle over the other and send the sit bones all the way back, coming to a nice seat, extending the feet out in front of you. Beautiful. From here, we will bring our hands to rest on the backs of our thighs, and we'll rock back until we feel our core connect. You got it. When we're here, we can either leave our feet flat on the ground, or if we have flexibility in the tops of the feet, we can come up onto the toes, or we can inhale our feet up to our reverse tabletop, or if you want a little extra challenge, you can extend them all the way out. When you've found what works for you in this core connection pose, we'll release our hands either side, and we're holding it here in our boat pose. So if wherever our legs are, just bring those ankles together. I want you to imagine that I'm zipping you up from the ankles all the way, calves coming all the way up the thighs to your lady business. Squeezing everything together, holding those abs on. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release down to the mat. Beautiful. From here, we'll tuck the chin into the chest, wrap both hands around your thighs, and just bring your head towards your knees, taking a little rest here. Awesome. From here, we're going to scoot our sit bones one step closer towards our heels, sneak a peek at the back of your mat. Just make sure you have enough room to lay down, and once you do, with the help of your hands, you can just lower yourself down to the ground. We want to make sure that our feet are about inner hip distance apart here. And just like we do in our standing poses, we're going to ground down through all four corners of the feet. And when we press into our feet, you should feel a little slight lift in the low back. We'll inhale our hands up to robot arms and really press into the triceps. If you haven't got it as yet, we are heading into our bridge pose. So if you want to grab a block or a cushion and put it in between your thighs to help, that's no problem. I actually recommend it. If not, we can just work on squeezing the thighs together. On our next inhale, we'll slowly begin to lift our hips up towards the ceiling, pressing away from the mat with our feet, squeezing the thighs together. Press into the backs of the triceps, the back of the head, and the tops of the shoulders. Go ahead and bring your hands behind your back, interlace your fingertips and squeeze the shoulder blades together. Come up higher onto the shoulders and see if that gives you any more room to come up a little higher. Lift those hips higher towards the sky. Squeeze those thighs together. You got this. Take a nice deep breath in. Feel that connection. Awesome. Beautiful. One more nice deep breath in and remove your hands out of the way. And on our exhale, nice and slowly and with control, we will lower it down one vertebrae at a time. I encourage you to lower down as slow as possible. Really focus on that connection, one by one. Awesome. When we get here, we'll just bring our hands to rest on our belly. And we'll heel to our feet out as wide as the mat and bring the knees to dip in the center. Take a deep breath in, and on our exhale, we'll send both knees over to the left sides, kind of like a windshield wipers on your car. Inhale, we'll bring them back up through center, and exhale, take them over to the right. We'll do one more time on each side. So inhale up through center, and exhale over to the left. Inhale up through center. Exhale over to the right. From here, we'll heel toe the feet back together. This time bringing the soles of the feet to touch and lowering the knees all the way down. Hands can stay resting on the belly here. And feel free to stay here for as long as you like. You can extend your feet all the way down and take a full Shavasana if you want. I encourage you to scan the entire body from the top of the head all the way down and really notice the connection that your body is feeling to the earth. Notice if you're holding or gripping anywhere, and just gently release. And I wish you a beautiful Friday. I can't wait to check in with you later. Bye.